Yeah, okay. Okay, I am officially here. Hello, welcome to Restore Belief. Just a couple of days after. Hello. Just a couple of days after, and apparently now the dog. Okay, hang on. Now I've got to hit mute. Interesting when you go live and certain things start happening all of a sudden. Anyhow, so welcome again. Let's try this again. Welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. I am Nikki. I am a psychic medium and a ET abductee, and just wow. Anyway, welcome. It's goodness sake, something happened. So let's see. ET abductee. Hey, little Cam Presents. Come on in, hun. Good to see you. I kind of wanted to talk tonight about some of the things that I missed last time. Talk about some questions that folks have asked me publicly when I've made statements that I'm an ET abductee lifelong. And what all does that mean? There have been people who are like, okay, what the hell do you mean by that? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and a little bit more about the process, because a little bit more of the detailed stuff. So there have been questions periodically in the last number of weeks, and apparently need to be answered. And a huge shout out to 3 ladies who did a wonderful live reading. So I appreciate you very much. I'm not going to name you because I don't want more targeting, but you know who you are, and I very much appreciate it. Okay, I gotta move my legs. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start. Let's see. I'm going to do a little bit of business first, so that I can actually take care of what I said I was going to do. And maybe it will allow me to. There we are. Okay. Click on that. Click this. Copy that. And here we go. Okay. Let's get the link up so that it follows through with what I said I would do. And Amy, I am sorry, I didn't. It just drives me nuts when I say I'm going live and all sorts of crazy shit starts happening. There we go, live right now. Link below. Okay, that is done. All right, now, I am going to show a picture because this is, let's get out of that. Astro World. Hello, Sarah. Oh, hi, you guys. Hey. Okay, so we tried this last time. I don't remember. I don't want to flip anything. I was trying to find how to add. Oh, it was down here. Hey, Drew. Hey, Janin. Hi. Top messages. No, I want all messages. We found that out on Wednesday, 14. Hello to the 14. Okay, so the reason I'm on tonight, I'm an ET abductee. I talk openly about my experiences. Eventually, and this is the old phone that I was using. Whoops. I don't know if you can see this. There we go. Oops, hello. Come on. This has all the different things on it. This is what I will be posting. I'm a psychic medium. I am also, and I'm not doing psychic stuff tonight. I mean, if it pops up, it pops up. I'm just not. But I am psychic medium, ET abductee, and a, well then why are you here? If you don't care, why are you here? Hello. Hi, Katie. So, you know, I talk openly, and often about these things. Hi, Gianni. Well, then get off the page if you don't like it, Teggy. Anyhow, so I've also done a lot of paranormal. Hi, Ronald. And a lot of different experiences. So I wanted to go through some of the things that other folks have asked about me or have asked questions about. So I was asking this afternoon, yesterday, well, this morning, I suppose I should say that, what kind of ship, somebody had seen a ship, and okay, we're gonna block you because I'm not putting up with that shit. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Drew, I appreciate that. Okay. Anyway, so there are multiple different kinds of spaceships. I asked which kind of ships this person had seen, and if the race of ET had been talking about with this abductee what kind of ET they were being abducted by. And they weren't told anything. So I went in and started asking all kinds of questions. And that came into all of this. And this is what I said. As a lifelong ET abductee, I can easily state what being abducted without clothing is like, because there's quite a lot. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. There's quite a lot to it, because this person had stated that they were abducted without clothing. And somebody had said, well, what the hell is that like? And I was like, well, I can tell you, it's not fun, but I can tell you. And that's what a lot of people don't know. They don't know the details. So I'm going to talk about some of the details. So I went on and I said, I should state it depends on which race or species of ET is doing the abductions. I am being abducted by two different groups of ET that I am aware of. One I have a sole contract with, whereas the other group I do not, and I'm absolutely not okay with what they are doing. Though I have been abducted by a third group of ET races, or race, whatever, and they are more terrifying, and from memory, it was only once, thankfully. The two groups of ETs who do my abductions, those are the lifelong ones. I find it interesting that it is the same kind of ET doing the physical and higher consciousness abductions, but on board ship, that's usually not which race of species of ET who does the dealing with the humans while on board. It's different work jobs. Out of topic, sorry. You're fine. Thanks, Jana. I appreciate that. So it fascinates me how you can be abducted by one group and by one race species of ET, and then end up having the same looking, same appearing race species of ET who are abducting, who are working with a different group completely. Now, what's interesting is that, or at least that I find interesting, is, hey, Woo Riders, it's good to see you, my dear. Then Amy, thank you very much. I do appreciate the fact that you removed that troll. Anyway, I find it very fascinating that the same race, species of ET, will coincide themselves with different groups, just like humans do. And in that, so the ones that take me, that actually do the physical abductions, are what I call the tall whites, okay? So I'm going to go into a little bit of an explanation of this. And I call them the tall whites because they're literally like a white, but from a distance, they're almost like an iridescent white because they're so stark white. They have the body, the physical, actual body of what looks like a typical gray ET. Okay, the long arms, the long thin torso, long legs. So some people, hey, we read it. I'm glad to see you in here. And little Cam, I'm glad you're still here. And so, but they're 7 feet tall. They also are extremely adept at dealing with controlling the human brain. And they can control the human brain by very specific frequencies and learning from like childhood, basically. Very difficult thing to grasp and very frustrating thing as an ET abductee, because you become this mindless little automaton. If you have physical disabilities, those disabilities are no longer there. Unless you cannot physically walk or you've got a missing limb, like leg or something, that's going to be a different matter. I do know abductees who have missing limbs and things like that where they are still abducted. Now, do I know if they've got the prosthetic and that kind of thing, if that is taken with them? I have no idea. But I do know that even those who are disabled, physically disabled, yes, they most definitely can be abducted, and are. So you have that going on. But I wanted to get into like the nitty gritty, the down and dirty as to actually what really takes place, because everybody goes, oh, you're abducted. You know, either you get the people who tell you, oh, you're full of shit, or they make fun of you and stuff like that. I'll be nice. Individual who was blowing up my chat a number of minutes ago, until Amy removed him, and for which I'm very thankful. Thank you, Amy. So getting down into the nitty gritty, and that's what this person was asking, and other people were making fun of these statements and these comments, and that was even in somebody's chat who is an abductee, who's extremely well known, very famous across the globe, in fact. They were getting a lot of shit in their chat. Now, figure what it's like for somebody like them or like me in a very public chat where they're talking about paranormal and showing Gaia TV images and things like that. Then the public, the all-encompassing public, they get very rude. I have been told everything you can imagine under the sun about how stupid we are, how awful we are, how much we're liars, or how schizophrenic we are. Well, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of abductees. So they're all, according to people that make derogatory bigotry statements, we all have schizophrenia, every one of us. It doesn't work like that. Just because you cannot psychologically handle the fact that this is being done to our population, our human population of this planet, doesn't mean that it is not happening. It is not pleasant a lot of times. There are good and bad ETs, or I should say, some ETs are not necessarily bad. They've made some extremely bad choices in choosing who to align themselves with, just like humans do. There are very much a lot of similarities in ETs and humans in that regards, and many ETs would not agree with that statement. But when the rubber meets the road, that's exactly what's taking place. For example, the ETs who abduct me from one group have chosen to align themselves with ETs who are choosing to do nefarious things, whereas another group is choosing to do things more for the positive. And some humans would say, well, that's not for the positive. Well, when they're trying to save lives and do other things in a genetic fashion, yeah, many of us are not. I sure as hell wouldn't have. When I started becoming more aware of, even though this has been going on since childhood, I mean, really from birth, for me, but my first memory of it is at 4 years old, then you start opening up, you start remembering more, you start becoming more awake and aware. It becomes very hard to not only psychologically handle, emotionally handle, and then you hit the whole gambit of, you hit grief, you hit the 5 stages, you hit the grief, you hit the anger and the rage, you hit denial. You hit the denial, the grief, the anger, the rage, and then eventually acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean that you have to like it, folks. FYI, if you're having problems hearing me, because I do not want to go through what I went through 2 nights ago, middle of the night, where my audio sounded like shit. It sounded like I was underwater. It was awful. So if it gets like that, somebody, for goodness sake, please say something in the chat. I will try to fix it, or I will have to go off and come back on again. But please let me know. Anyway, so regarding all of this is why I want this to be talked about, because a lot of it, that kind of thing, the down and out nitty-gritty, is not truly discussed. Think about that, because everybody kind of glosses over it, because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, I want to know. Well, they're given more of the quote-unquote broad strokes. Well, no, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. So this is what I'm going to continue on with reading, and I wanted to talk about this, and if you have questions, please put them in the chat. And yes, I have the chat, all of it up, not just short pieces. I don't want what happened last time. So, and those that have me on Facebook Messenger, if a question pops up and I didn't answer it because for whatever reason I didn't see it, it will pop up on my other device, so let me know. or if you're on another app that I'm on with you, then you can message me there. It'll pop up on this, and I may not. Well, I'll still be able to see it in a weird way. But anyway, all right. So I'm going to continue on with this. Okay, so 2 groups of ET do my abductions for the lifelong ones. I find it interesting that it is the same kind of ET doing the physical and higher consciousness abductions. Now, that's the thing that I have learned in the last number of years that I did not consciously remember, was that there's physical ET abductions as well as higher consciousness ET abductions. Boy, let me tell you, that was a real hard one for me to accept, acknowledge, and even I really thought I was losing my mind over that one. And then I went, oh my God, this is another faction of this. And guess who's involved with that one? The global governments are involved with that one. And that's not cool, in my opinion. So it's another reason why I've got difficulties with, I don't have a problem with localities and state and government that way. It doesn't bother me. That I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the federal government and what they are doing. And that's the other thing. Somebody please remind me. Hopefully I will remember. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is how some of these programs are working. Some of the psychic information that I've received and had confirmed by certain individuals on the other side who are like, yeah, I can confirm that. And they would know. Let's just put it that way. I've had spirits come and talk to me and say, hey, yeah, we were there at this, that. So I want to talk about that as well. Hopefully we'll get to it tonight. Yeah, different. Okay, so we talked about different work jobs. Okay, 3, 4, here's 5. Okay. So it's fascinating to me that on the ships they have, on board the ships they have ETs doing different jobs, which of course makes sense. You got a large ship, a large mothership, and this is what is taking place. Okay, here's something. So if the ETs who do the actual physical abductions are not aware, and many times they definitely are not aware, because they are not the same ETs who are on board ship dealing with the human for whatever purposes, where they are simply the one controlling the human's body and mind during the physical abductions. Bluntly stated, it's freaking ice cold in the air, especially when you're butt out naked. Depending upon how far the ship is off ground, off Earth, or depending on the season of your location, and depending upon how they are doing the abductions. Now, whether that means the physical abduction is via an orb of light, which can happen, which usually means the human is instantaneously on board that orb, which is essentially a transport vessel, a transport vehicle that is condensed down by a very, very specific kind of frequency energy. Well, it's more than just frequency energy, but that's how I'm going to describe it because that's the word that everybody understands. I do not understand the propulsion system. That is something that I've got a very dear friend who would like to know about that. And Einstein has actually been wanting to talk with them to explain it to them. And by God, that would be a phenomenal. I mean, he is on the other side. He knows, he remembers. And I hope that he comes back at some point and my friend brings him back at some point and we have a 3-person or technically a 4-person. two humans alive and two on the other side having a conversation about the propulsion systems, because the ETs, they have talked about it, but I do not remember it. As of right now, I do not remember it. And I hope that one day I will be allowed to remember that. Okay, so that done. Ice cold. Okay. Now, whether that means the physical abduction is of an orb, so the human becomes instantaneously on board the transport vehicle, which is then to be transported to the main ship, versus the ETs, if abducting during the time the human is active somewhere, like you're exercising or you're running up a hill or you're in public and you're in a downtown location. Okay? Those ETs who do the physical abductions will telepathically start controlling the human's brain and start making them believe they are tired. Now, if you're home or in an office, different situation. If you're home, you're definitely going to want to lay down. So they'll start controlling the human's brain and start making them believe they are tired, then sleepy, and have to sit down or lay down. Okay. Then it becomes a different ball game in the land of controlling the human. If the human is in public, that is a different ball game altogether. Sorry for the baseball vernacular, but it seems one of the human ways I need to state this. As we all know, this by certainty is no game whatsoever. Our lives in being abducted is no game. But it seems that right now, the only way that I can call it is like a baseball game. It's baseball vernacular. So, and it's also part of me. So, versus if the human is asleep, those ET will control the human's brain a different way and force a frequency of energy they are extremely adept at using and controlling, where then the human is being slipped out of the human's clothing, usually from in bed, due to the ETs using a form of high frequency called phase shifting. It's phase shifting energy. They have the ability within themselves to do it. They do not need a device. Not according to what I have witnessed, not according to what I've heard or what I've been told. Other people may experience it differently. These are my experiences. This is what I've seen. This is what I've experienced throughout almost my entire life regarding this technique. Okay? Phase shifting energy, frequency, form of high frequency called phase shifting energy on the human, and the human's body literally slides right through the physical clothing. It is I am here to tell you, I've woken up. As I'm going up, I've woken up as I've come down through clothing, through blankets, through sheets, on my bed, sitting in a chair. And if I've been sitting in a chair, I usually wake up in my bed afterwards when they bring me back. So for that to happen, the only way that I can think how that can actually take place, because I'm always, 9 times out of 10, I'm going out butt-ass naked with them. Not of my choosing, let me tell you. That does not make me a happy camper. I'm a large woman, okay? And even when I was a skinny mini, I was still a relatively large woman. Still. So, because I've got a big bone structure, and don't even get me started on that. That is a true thing. and it's medically scientifically proven, just an FYI. So the only thing that I can think of is that they take me out of the chair, they control the brain, have me walk either to the bed, or they do it totally and completely, and have me on the bed, and then up we go. And I'm out of the clothes and we're off. Or they make me go to sleep, take me from the chair, and then put me on the bed. Or just out of the clothes, and the clothes are put on the bed, and I come back. See, that does not make sense to me, because when I come back, what has taken place is that I literally slide back through the clothing in a you can actually feel the clothing as it's starting to slide, as you start to slide through the cloth. Your energy feels it. I don't know how else to say that. Your physical body doesn't feel it, but the energy from your arms, your legs, your feet, your hands, your head, your neck, all torso, all of you, your whole, it feels like your body, but it's not. It's actually it's a form of an energy that is in your body, and that's what you feel as you go back through the blankets, the sheets, and the clothing. It's a very interesting and strange feeling at the same time. Okay? So there's that aspect of this. Now, that phase shifting frequency is how they get the human body out of the building and get to the set location to be beamed up. Lack of bad word, bad phrasing, but I don't know how else to say it. So that's how they get you out of a building. God damn, sorry. Dry lip. Sorry. And so when they take you out, that's why people talk about going through. Sorry. No, that's better. That's why they talk about going through the ceiling or a wall. It's not very often you hear about somebody talking about going through glass. I hate going through windows. Just freaking hate it. I don't use the H word very often, the word hate, because it has so many bad connotations, but it's the most perfect one for this situation. That said, because going through glass, there's a frequency in glass, in actual glass, and it's like a squeaky feeling, and it's really wicked, nasty, ick feeling. But the going through a wall, you still feel it, but it's not like you just glide right through. I don't know how else to say it in any other way. Not only do you glide right through, your energy will feel the beams, you will feel the electrical wires as you slide through it, literally as you go right through it. Sorry if that was too loud. I'm still getting used to this microphone thing. Your body will literally slide through right through it, or right through the ceiling. Now, as I know it, I don't know what they're playing games with the dog out in the rest of the house. So if you hear strange sounds, that's what's going on outside of my room. So now I don't know, based on what I understand in things that I remember, when I've lived in apartments that have had 2 or more levels to it, they don't take you through the ceiling, because you'd be going up through numerous apartments. They take you out through walls, okay? They'll take you out through a window, because it's an ease of access. So if you're in a basement apartment, I don't have a freaking clue as to how the hell they would take you. I just know that if you're in an apartment Well, I keep getting told high rise. In a high rise, they'll take you out of a wall. In a house, they'll take you out through the top. Usually, not always, but usually. As I understand it, as I remember it, okay? So just be aware of those kind of things. But it's called phase shifting. And wow, did I ask a lot of questions about phase shifting. It's a very specific frequency. And yes, we humans can actually phase shift. We can do it to ourselves. Isn't that gonna be fun for the government to try to figure out? And me being a smartass. Anyway, it's also me being nasty about it with them, because I hope to God they never frickin' figure that one out. But anyway, because they're doing so much wicked shit right now. But anyway, my point is that good grief, you guys. My point is that when the lights come down, there are some people that have talked about just immediately going straight up. Well, that, as I understand it, is some kind of device, because I don't quite understand how the ET can do that. I know that they can do this phase shifting. They can control the human brain in very specific ways, to where if they have you walking, you become a mindless automaton. No pain in your body whatsoever when this happens. Nothing. I mean, you're literally walking. And I've had back issues. I've had back problems, actually very significant back problems. And I now walk with a cane, have for a number of years. 6-7 years, I think. 5 to 7 is what I think I'm going to say on that. And when they turn me into this mindless little automaton BS that I get so angry about, I'm walking without a cane. There's not a thought in my head. You literally are under total control. That I have a big issue with. I take great issue to that. Yeah, Woo Riders, that's funny. I appreciate the laughter, thank you. So those are the kinds of things to keep in mind when this is happening. Now, okay. Phase shifting energy. The phase shifting frequency is how they get the human body out of the building and get to that set location to be beamed up. Also, lack of better wording, meaning they stand in a designated location where they and the human body is floating, lying flat, usually. Because, hello, they're taking them out of bed, or they're taking them out of a specific location. Laying flat, and a transport light comes down. That's the beam of light comes down, and the ship's transport energy, stating it that way due to lack of any better description of or known ET phrase as to what they call it. I only know it's called phase shifting because ETs have told me that is what they call it. Where the transport energy is then extremely vibrant, is an extremely vibrant white, blinding light, and the people inside that light are then raised through the air as they are in a stationary position, usually unable to move. Now, when that takes place, you're being raised from the ground level, going up into the air and into the atmosphere. If you're butt-ass naked, How cold do you think you're going to be? How ice cold is your skin going to be if it's winter time? Think about that one. I've woken up both going up and coming back down in that transport light before. Could not open my eye. I could not open my eyelids whatsoever. Okay? They had complete control over that. But for whatever reason, my brain was able to break through that control. And that's not something that's so easy to do. But what I've learned, for me, it happened that way because I got so freaking cold, ice cold, teeth chattering, ice cold, bone cold. So the higher the body goes in the air, the colder the air gets, which is absolutely not nice nor fun during wintertime, especially when it's already, say, for example, 22 degrees, 24, 26, 28 degrees near the ground of the area where you live. Okay? It actually becomes quite painful the higher one goes in the air and where one's teeth start chattering badly because one is so extremely cold. A lot of times they don't even recognize that because they're focused so intensely on getting you up or down into the ship or out of the ship and getting you back home. They want what they don't have. Yeah, in a lot of ways. So, and this is where I've actually yelled at them for this. Especially doing this to me in wintertime, where I made them very aware that they will cause significant illnesses in me and in the human bodies that they are abducting. So they better keep us warm during transport in our winter times, which I learned that, of course, this means... Uh-oh. Hang on. Did I lose it? Actually... Yeah, this means for them to be using a different section of the human's brain to control in order to force the human body into believing it is warmer than it actually is. Because, hello, they're controlling the human brain. They have the ability to do this. But now they do this newer technique in the last 5 years, after I bitched about it, so that if the human wakes up or starts becoming aware, they hopefully won't freak out so badly because their own body is shivering hardcore to where their teeth are literally rattling because it is so cold. Summertime obviously is quite different during an abduction. So, and then someone made a smart-ass remark, and I responded to it. And I don't typically respond to smart-ass remarks that are this much of a being an ass about it, but they were saying, well, you actually think ETs are going to tell you what race they are? You're full of shit. That was the response. And I was like, actually, that many races will. Not all, but many races will, especially if you're becoming aware and then they try to control the brain. And so you may be aware of it at one point, but you may not retain that memory because it will be either them blocking it or because you became so frightened that you block it. And yes, that can happen. Look into psychology and counseling over that one because that happens with trauma. It becomes like a trauma drama dump. So, that happens. So I wanted to talk about that. Then let's see, what else? Okay, come on, why are you not opening up? Oh, come on. Oh, bugger to beans. Sorry, old statement from, there we are, girlfriend. Years ago. I still use the statement. Okay. Oh. Now, here's something interesting. Now, this has nothing to do with the ETs. This has to do with a government asshat who decided to target again. I wrote in a post, and yeah, I'm making this public. I've already been warned I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna. I can relate to this song right about, this was 12 p.m. Pacific time, because I'm in Washington State. I can relate to this song right about now. I'm fed up with the peeping Thomases in Astral doing their targeted individual bullshit routine, and it has become routine for them with me. I'm like, yep, let the bodies hit the floor, babe. As the song states, let the bodies hit the floor, I think is the name of the song, or bodies or something like that. Anyway, as the song states, and yep, this government conglomerate retired military asshat in Astral is one seriously stinky pot of festering foot fungus asshat in Astral who is about to get nailed by me and my anger energy full force if he doesn't leave me the f alone. Standing behind me, to the side of me, or whichever room I'm in, because he's watching everything I say and do. And yes, they can do that, folks. They do it very well. Hey, Woo Riders, I'll get to your question in just a minute, okay? And he's literally stinking up my home with his old, crusty, stinky socks and his military boot, nasty old rotting foot fungus odor wherever he is, because hello, I'm a psychic medium. I smell these people. I not just feel their energy, I smell them. I can see them. Now, sometimes there are sections where I see parts of them. So I'm not just an ET abductee, I'm also a psychic medium who has these experiences. And when you get government, it's like, because they're after information and, oh my God, they're afraid you're going to do something. Oh, so what I say to that, I'm like, I'm so over this shit. Especially, so it gets very old and I get very frustrated sometimes, and sometimes, you know, I make statements. Like right now. Okay, so let's see, what else? All right. I said, honestly, I don't know what's worse. Catherine, the CIA agent who is, quote, the cat litter lady, as I call her, where I start sneezing repeatedly when she's here, or the guy with the great and high-priced cologne that is so overpowering that it makes my eyes start to hurt and water. Or now this guy, the guy with the severe foot fungus and his foot rot fungus odor that makes my stomach nauseated. So it's just, you pick your battles, and sometimes you ignore, because this guy's been here off and on for 5 days. And it's just, I've ignored him and ignored him and ignored him. And today he was so encompassing in my energy that I kind of freaking lost it with him. And I told him, I said, dude, get your ass in to see a naturopath. Go get treatment for this, because I can't stand being around you. I can't do this. You get the hell out. Not only do I want you out of here anyway, but go get this taken care of. And as soon as I started telling him how, you know, because I've known different naturopaths to talk about this with different people, and I've actually asked the naturopaths, how would you recommend for somebody like this? And they'll tell me. So I started telling this Gaia Astral. This is what you need to do. Go get until you get in to see a doctor and get treated for this because, dude, this is really bad. And basically, he was at a desk. He was at a desk and he had taken his loafer shoes. Well, they're not loafer shoes, but I don't know what else to call them. Off, and and he was standing behind me, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna watch every goddamn thing I type? Well, let's see. I guess we're going to be talking about ETs today and paranormal. You're really interested in this? And I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's just, it gets old. Targeting it gets really freaking old. Anyway, so back to the ET stuff. There are whoops, I hit a wrong button again. There really are a lot of things that can be talked about. I'm trying to see if I can find the other ones. Oh, so this is a picture. Whoops. Try it again. Okay, so this is a picture of me. I named him Jungle Rot John. Well, I think his name might be Tom, but I'm not sure. Because that was the psychic kit that I got. But we'll see when he comes back. Oh, great question, Woo Riders. Okay, so this is me at age 4 years old. Okay, so that's me at 4. Okay, and the reason I know it's me at 4 is because I got a scar going across the chin, but you don't see it. You literally, I don't have it anymore. I took a flying leap off of a swing set and went face first into a pile of cement. 4 years old. I was a little tomboy. So, used to love doing a lot of different things. Anyway, I said last time I had wished I had that image on that device so that I could show you. But that is what I look like when God, my skin is just driving me nuts. It's been really bad the last, I don't know, well, number of months actually. But anyway, regarding ETs, the question. I want to get to the question. Woo Riders is asking, Nikki, do the non-human intelligence, also known as NHI, go to heavenly realms when they pass, or if some races are so far advanced, maybe they can just regenerate their bodies over and over forever? Woo! Loaded question, dear boy. Loaded question. As far as I understand it, as far as I understand it, ETs, when they die, they're on the other side. They're a soul, just like we are. But they're a higher vibrational soul. I don't know how else to say that. Matter of fact, the last 29, 30. The last 5 hybrid children that I've had. Hello, Mr. B and friends. Hi, hun. Good to see you. The last, I'm going to say 4 to 6 hybrid infants that I had, children. Their frequency was pretty high, but especially the last 3. Their frequencies were really, really high, which is one of the reasons why it's easier for us to stay in more contact. So I've learned that. And like I talked about a couple of days ago, those infants are telepathic. So you could experience whispers that could make it appear like it's your self-talk. Sorry, like I said, skin is just driving me nuts. Then with the heat. Anyway, so and I'm going to use a product placement. Magnesium lotion by Nightglow. Anyway, sometimes this works. Whoops, and this stuff smells like vanilla. It smells pretty good actually, and it's pretty. It's a lot. It's probably the best magnesium lotion I've ever come across. Just saying something because I've come across an awful lot of them. Anyway, so think about that if you are an ET abductee and you're a female, or you're wondering about all of this. Oh, God, that's better. I thought I was getting enough water, maybe not. Anyway, so you may end up having conversations in your head, thinking it's yourself, kind of like batting around ideas in your head and that kind of thing. And you start realizing, oh my God, that may have been a hybrid pregnancy. That may have been a baby. Well, the interesting thing is that our human infants, when us human women are pregnant with human infants, our human infants are telepathic. We just don't even realize it. We don't even recognize that as a thing. Also remember that our sciences talk about the facts, and they are medical facts in our human sciences that have definitively proven that an infant's DNA and blood and everything is passed. You're passing all of that back and forth between the mother's body and the infant's body, and after birth, after the infant has been birthed, you then have the remnants of all of that still floating around for 20, 30 years in your body. And now the numbers are not right. I know that. Don't come at me about the numbers. I'm giving you a generalized estimate. I don't remember the exact precise numbers, so don't come at me about that. Do your own research on it. It's a lot of years, and I think it's possibly even throughout the rest of that woman's lifetime. So however many pregnancies the woman has had, each child has left a scientific, medical structure in the body. I mean, it just keeps floating around to the brain, to the rest of the body, all of it. Excuse me. Same thing happens with ET babies with hybrid pregnancies and things of that nature. So those are things to remember. This is, it's very elaborate. So, and yet very simple at the same time regarding that kind of situation. Now, regarding ET abductions, the kind that was described where this individual was taken up by an orb, how I understand that, now I don't remember that ever happening to me, but as I understand it from other abductees, other people, they're literally in like a transport type vehicle, because those are done with a very specific kind of energy frequency, and they're brought, it's like they're brought into a device of some kind and held. I don't understand some of it, but that's essentially what I've been told. Then they're carried in that little orb device ship and transported into the larger ship, where they are then looked at or things are done or what have you. So, and remember, there is a major slow drip factor for all of this. In Hollywood, in media, in movies, whoever makes movies, there's always some form of drip factor, and there has been. So you've got to keep all of that coming into play as well. So, yeah, that's talking for an hour. It's 7:30 or thereabouts right now. I think that's right. Yeah, 7:33. So, if you have questions, feel free and ask your questions. I'm trying to think of other things I didn't go back on the other night because I couldn't. I was too worn out. And I ended up with way too much work to do. But as an ET abductee, just know you're not alone. Know that there are people that you can talk to. I'm one of them. There are a number of other people. There are some groups. If you need a referral to a group, hit me up privately. I will give you the names of some groups that I know of. I don't know very many, but I do know a few in the United States. Most of them use Zoom or those kind of media to muscle cramp. Getting those kind of meetings from long distances. There are group meetings all over the world. Some are based in the United States and some are based outside of the US. So just be aware of that as well. I'm still looking for one for somebody in Europe. So if I'm putting that out there, if anybody knows of a support group that is in Europe, please let me know. I'm trying to find one, well, not just for one person, but a couple of people. More specifically, this one individual, but a couple of people. So please let me know if you know of one, because that one specific individual would actually like to go physically to a meeting. A lot of the ones that I know of, they don't do them physically anymore. They do them via usually Zoom, but there are other. No, I don't believe that. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. So, just know that I think, if I remember right, somebody had said that there was one in Italy, but it was a mixture of different, wide variety of subjects discussed. So folks have to keep that kind of thing in mind too. Little Cam is asking, in your viewpoint, is tarot inherently evil, or is it just falsely associated with demonic? It's falsely associated with demonic stuff, yeah. I've never come across it as evil. I know people that tarot helps to bring out and bring about more of their psychic abilities, such as the mediumship abilities, and being given psychic downloads while they are using cards. Now, whether that's tarot cards, oracle cards, cards they make themselves. What I'm seeing a lot more of right now is people actually writing on 3x5 cards because they are psychic mediums. Some charge, some don't, and they're literally creating piles this big of cards, shuffling and shuffling and shuffling, and using, because of their own experiences, are using, because they're fed up with some of the cards that they've seen, or they're wearing out the cards that they've used for so long. And a lot of questions are coming up, and they're finding in, I was going to say their business, but for some of them it's a business. For others, they do it out of the goodness of their heart. And no, I've never come across it unless the person, the only time I've ever, okay, here's something. The only time I've ever come across it being done negative wise is when somebody has a wicked attachment to them, or they have a wannabe that is, I was going to say perusing, surrounding them and trying to access them. That's the only time that I've ever seen it misused. Or somebody who actually has a, what I call a wannabe demon, trying to access them in a very specific way. It's the only time I've ever seen it where it's like, oh, you get really bad sensations. Even folks who say that they don't have any psychic feeling, any psychic abilities, any mediumship abilities. Everybody does, but they just don't. It's a different form of intuition for folks. That's the only time I've ever seen it wrong. And then you'll come across folks who, like me, I don't do tarot. I was about to when I was in my teens, and literally I got stopped from doing it, and I believe that's the other side. Because I was supposed to go down a different path in this life. And I've been told that if I had gotten into that form of tarot, or tarot itself, that yes, I would have been very good at it, but it wasn't what was supposed to happen for me, and so I was led away from it for other reasons and other purposes. So, Lil Kim, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I've only, it's very few times where I've actually seen it misused. And the reason it's been misused is because they've had an attachment, or they've had a wannabe, walking around, being kind of slimy about it and that kind of thing. I don't see that very often. And I've seen a lot of people use tarot. I've seen some who are extremely inexperienced. I can't use tarot to save my life. It just, give me a set of oracle cards, not a problem. I'm at that stage in my life where it's just, it just doesn't work. Or give me a batch of cards that have positivity to them, where it's everything is a positive affirmation. I can get told how many cards I'm supposed to pick for the person, how many cards are supposed to be chosen for the person. Different mediumship abilities come into play with that for me personally. And then I start receiving, once I start picking up and I start reading what's on the card, then I start receiving psychic downloads, or mediumship quotes, or things of that. I was trying to figure out how to phrase that. Things of that nature. And I usually have a tendency to be very good at that kind of thing. But tarot itself, I can't do tarot itself. I know what things are, but I don't retain it anymore. So, like, if I shuffled the deck, and anyway, I'm getting too long-winded into this, but yeah, it's not my thing for me. I know other people that are extremely adept in it and know it inside and out and upside down and backwards. And there are a lot of people that I know are very, very good at it. My thing is, I'm very good at energy work and that kind of. Who's Donna? Well, I better write that name down. Somebody just told me the name of Donna. Oh, speaking of which, I got told Matilda yesterday. Okay, Donna. Okay, and now I got the name Jeffrey. Oh God, what the hell time is it? 7:43 p.m. Okay, so, let me see. Okay, and now James. Which James? Because there are a lot of different James that I know. A lot of them. And which Donna? I know two Donnas. Are they relating to a spirit on the other? No, spirit on the other side. Okay. And who the hell is the? Dude. I'm not saying that word out loud. Holy crap on a cracker. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm really not saying that name. Okay. And Donna is a spirit. And tell me who James is, please. Joy. Okay. All right. Anyhow. And I'm supposed to bring up Einstein again. Okay, why I'm okay. I gotta find a different line. Einstein. Okay, why? Okay. Well, apparently we got an unexpected. I don't know if I call this a reading or what the hell I would call this. You have to speak up if you're going to talk to me. The targeting that I've been through, you know this. I don't want it just in my gut and in my throat and in part of my head. I actually want to hear it in my ears, please. Yeah, I don't give two shits. They already know what they've done to me, so they don't care. So what about Einstein? Says hello. You're relaying this. That's not Einstein's energy. I know his energy. So, yeah, I know who you are. Okay, what about the propulsion system? Oh, buddy boy, you propulsion systems of okay. True ET ships. So you mean when you say true ET ships, you specifically mean the biological ET ships, the ones that I have been on? Or are you talking the propulsion systems from the government ships, from the okay, quote unquote, oh, we're not talking about the government ships this time. Okay. The ships I have been on. Okay, what about them? I don't know what those words are. I can't even pronounce those frickin' words. Pardon me, folks, we have an unexpected reading. I don't know what the fuck to call this. Sorry for the language. I'm a little frustrated at the moment. Blue light, white light. What the hell does that mean? Oh, energy. Okay, it creates a blue, it starts up as a white light, creates a blue light, goes to a hum, high frequency hum. Yeah, but what does this have to do with anything? Do you have the science chemical component? You're calling it a chemical component? That can't be right. It's a natural. You gotta speak up, dude. Show me. Don't tell me I've seen it. I don't remember it. Oh, for fuck's sake. So it starts off blue, or excuse me, it starts off white, turns to, I can see that color of blue. That's a beautiful blue. Almost kind of like a sky blue. Not quite. And not iridescent, but it's got a glow to it. Then it goes back to white when it goes into connect. What do you mean connection? This is like gibberish to me. What the hell are you doing? And you're getting angry with me. Well, you need to talk. Oh, this is joyful. Well, I think I'm going to have to do this on, I'm going to have a call with somebody, and we're going to have to try it there, where they're going to have to start asking me questions, because I'm not getting, it's like gibberish to me. Yeah, and I'm starting to get upset over this, and I know you are too, because I can hear the anger in your voice. God, don't give me E equals MC squared. Don't give me that shit. You're just being a smartass. Okay, well, you know who you are. Out there, land. I will be calling you, and hopefully, I don't. Hopefully, we can get this figured out, because I don't. It's almost like taken from a star. I don't understand that. You're showing me and telling me, you're showing me an image of a star, but you're telling me taken from a star. That, something about a form of energy. It's a specific form of energy. I don't understand. Okay. All right. Yeah, I got that. It's stronger than. So does that energy then, is that the energy that is what makes the ship alive? Because as you know, the ships that I have been on, the ones that do the hybridization, those are not metamaterial. That is actual living. The ship is alive. The actual metal is a shapeshifter. The outside of it isn't, but the inside of it is. Is that what shapeshifts? Because they've got to have something that. Yeah, I know I'm not understanding. I know I'm not miscommunicating. You're not giving me words that I understand. Let's put it that way. And I know part of my dyslexia comes into play. Dude, you gotta fucking dumb this down for me. Don't science it up. Dumb it down. Because this is way beyond my purview. Sorry, folks. Oops, again. Oh, now you're gonna go away. All right, you go away and you come back. Figure out how you want to talk to me about it, and the other people who would like to know about this, because I'm sure there are quite a few. Yeah, all right. Quote unquote, I'll see you in a bit. All right, don't get pissy with me. I'm just trying to understand, but you gotta dumb this shit down, because that is way fucking beyond what I can understand. I don't understand that at all. I don't even understand how these ships are alive, but yet. Yeah, now they're gone. Okay, well, no. off over here somewhere, but quite at a distance. Why does Einstein still feel around? Dude, you were talking to me a couple of years ago. Why are you not? Okay. All right. Well, learn something new every day, I suppose. The ships that I've been taken on. Sorry. Oh, B6. I'm out of B6. That's why. The ET ships that I have been on have basically. There's been a number of different kinds of ships that I've been on, but the true ET ships, the ones that are not government made, they're not reverse engineered. These true ET ships, they're living metal. The metal is alive. It has a consciousness. I know I've talked about that before. We're kind of, for some folks that have been with me for a very long time, you will see that and know that. Well, you'll recognize that what the hell I'm talking about. But anyway, for those that don't, and the ones that are newbies, and that are probably going to be watching the replay of this, these ET ships, these true ET ships, they metamorph. They literally morph into what you need. I have seen children. I haven't seen or heard what they thought, but I've walked into a form of a children's nursery, and the kids are playing, and somebody mentioned stairs, and you're walking by watching the kids play, and a group of disabled kids off over to my left, and the other kids are trying. The able-bodied kids are trying to play with the disabled. I don't know how else to say that. I don't think of them as disabled, but that's the word that we use. It's the human word that we use. Sorry, I'm becoming very galactic, and it's very bizarre to me. Anyway, so the able-bodied kids are going and playing with the kids who are disabled in one form or another. And as I'm walking by, one of the kids says stairs. There's no stairs. There's nothing but a wall there. And the next thing I hear this kind of like sliding. It's almost like a sliding mechanism, but it's not metal. I don't know what else to call it. But you hear this sliding sound. And I'm walking this way, and I hear the sliding sound, and I'm turning like this, and I'm going, you literally see the stairs created right in front of you coming up, and it's a T shape. So you have stairs coming up, and then they subdivide out to more stairs coming up like that. And the kids go up and play, and there's like a rail, there's a banister on each side going up, and then the banister, and it's attached to the wall. The stairs goes nowhere. I've seen infants, literally slightly older infants, literally want to play like a monkey, and have jumped out of an arm, and the wall literally creates it's like it's instantaneous, creates this like jungle gym feature when there was a wall, and you as a human feel like you're going stark raving Looney Tunes, and you know damn well that couldn't possibly be happening, but it can on board a true ET ship. It cannot on board a human ET made ship, one that they reverse engineered. Because the real ET ships, the insides of them, not all of them, but on board the big, what we would classify as a mothership, yeah, they do. I don't know about the small ones. I've been on large ones before. I've been on medium-sized ones. I don't remember small ships. Let's just put it that way. I remember they're the size of 3 American football fields in length and 1 to 1.5 American football fields wide. NFL football fields wide. Because I had to do the math on that one. That was not fun. I hate math. Sorry, that is my dyslexia, part of me talking. I do not like math. That also comes from childhood abuse. So maybe one day somebody will actually get me to fully enjoy math. I don't know. I'm 57 now, so we'll see. We'll see. So, some more time. I don't know. Maybe see what happens. But yeah, these ships, they're metamorphing. And when I've been inside the moon base or the Mars base, none of it morphs. Absolutely none of it morphs. But inside these ships, they most certainly do. I find that fascinating. Truly fascinating. Anyway, damn, I was really hoping he would stick around. Or maybe if I get on a phone call with somebody specific, Einstein might show back up and we might get information. I don't understand this energy taken from a star. That makes no sense to me. I mean, so what I was shown was energy taken from a star, put into some kind of device, and that device is what muscle and nerve, apparently. I'm gonna have to take meds pretty soon. And somehow the combination of that energy, that frequency, combined with whatever kind of device it's put into, because that's what I was shown. It was put into some kind of metal-looking device that's not really metal. I don't know what else to classify it as. Anyway, and that device is put into a ship. That was what I was shown. How do you explain that? It's very inarticulate to me. So, but does that mean, so then that leads into questions of, does that mean that part of the propulsion is part of the living material on that ship, on board that ship, that helps create, because it's a consciousness. The ship itself is a feeling of love, which is the strangest feeling, because when you're walking on that ship, you're usually barefoot. I think there's only been a couple. I think there's only been a couple of times as an ET abductee that I ever remember being in some kind of sock. They're these ETs, they're very, very fastidious about cleanliness on their ship and not contaminating the ship. So, that's like implemented into me. They don't like certain things, but yet they have a specific, each one of them excuse me, each one of them has a specific body odor, each different type of ET. Now, there are things that I know some of them eat like us. I don't know about some of the other things. There are some ETs that are compatible with human, and you know what I mean by that. And then others that are absolutely not. There are ET partnerships. I remember that on Mars, that there are ET partnerships and what we would call marriages. Then some mate for life. It's like their souls are a mated pair for life, no matter what takes place. So I remember that. It's interesting because I remember some human clones on Mars that actually hooked up with people that we would classify as ETs that looked human. But I do remember that. I don't remember the people, but I remember, how do I say that? I don't remember the people. That's not exactly accurate. I don't remember the faces. That's what's bugging the crap out of me. To be accurate in that statement, I don't remember the faces. I remember the bodies. I remember the energy. I remember bits and pieces of conversations and like generic day-to-day stuff. That's what I remember. So that's why I get frustrated with myself, or I look away, or I do this weird facial expression, because I get very frustrated at myself when I try to describe this. I want this to be as accurate as possible for you so you understand certain things. If you found this interesting at all, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. Helps the algorithms. I appreciate that immensely. And most folks know that there's only certain things I will tolerate in my chats. So you got to be nice to everybody. And disrespect will get you booted, because I will not put up with that. And unfortunately, I wish I could have done that earlier, right after somebody had come on and was being a real troll. And again, I thank you, Amy. So if this is useful, or you found this interesting or informative in any way, or things on my whether it's my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, follow along. There's a lot of different subjects I talk about, and tonight I really felt like I wanted to explain really what it was like being abducted. The sensations. For example, a couple of nights ago I talked about being taken when I was on vacation in a different location, and I woke up. I literally went to bed, and I was in PJs and woke up in a forest, surrounded by 7 foot tall. Where there was a group of us. It wasn't just me. There was a group of us, and I was waking up, and I was breaking the hold that they had on my brain. I couldn't break the hold that they had on my body, because I don't have that kind of high frequency. That's the other thing, is that not all ETs have that kind of high of a frequency. They'll have a high frequency, but they may not have the highest frequency to be able to control a human brain or to control another being's brain. So that makes things interesting as well. Yeah, and I keep getting shown and reminded of that star, and I don't understand star energy. Somebody in the sciences probably would, but I don't understand that. And then containing that and then using that propulsion. There's got to be more to it. I know R. Keith Andrews remembers a hell of a lot more than any of this, than I do by far. And he's so much more science oriented than I am. So he's the one that I would definitely be asking, but I don't understand the star thing, and I've never heard that before. So I don't know, and I have a feeling I'm going to get gib slapped. We call it gib slapped. A slap at the back of the head. That's not fun. I've had different hierarchies do that to me before. I've actually had one spirit do that to me before. We get slapped on the back of the head, just like in the TV show NCIS. We call it a gib. In my circle of people, we call it the gib slap. Because, like, what the hell are you thinking, woman? Or whoever it is. So I was about to say something, and I'm like, I can feel it. I'm gonna get the gib slap. So apparently I'm not going to say it, but anyway, and I just got told, well, we wish you would. Yeah, no, thank you. I don't need the gib slap on the back of my head. Thank you very much. At least it's not on the top of my chakra system. That's when it hurts. I've actually, like I talked about a couple nights ago, I actually had, because I got so angry at my friend who had passed, and I only chuckle about this because I've only ever seen a prime angel's feet and legs and clothing that they wore, and their bright light. I've never seen the hands before, and I saw the hand. I saw one hand, but knew that there were two, and yeah, that's not fun. That was actually really rather painful. So I don't care to have that happen again. It also kind of took me out a bit. So anyway, I'm babbling now. If anybody's got any questions, the next couple of minutes I will stay on just to see, because I know there's I think it's a 20-second to 10, 12, 20-second delay or something like that. So I'll wait for any questions, and then it'll be my time to go. It's almost 10 after 8 p.m. in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm feeling good tonight. I may very well come back on after all the big shows are on, because I don't know if Element 15 is on tonight with Lee Strauss, part of Spaced Out Radio. I know Dave Scott and Spaced Out Radio will be on. There's a number of other shows that are on tonight as well. So those usually end around midnight my time. I will probably, if I'm up for it, I will probably come back about 12:15, 12:10, 12:15. But I will post it. I'll let you know if it's going to happen. There were other things I wanted to talk about, and I can't pull them out of my memory right now, which is part of the targeting that I've experienced. So, Woo Riders question. Okay, what's your question, Woo Riders? I will wait. Waiting. Anyhow, it's been an interesting life, to say the very least. I'm very thankful for people in my life, and others I could have done without, but supposedly they were supposed to cross my path. So And the other side is making it to where they're showing me very specific information, and things are happening in this world. Like I said, they would. They're a couple of years off, but they are happening. And folks didn't believe me as a psychic medium, but they're happening now. And, funny how people have selective memory, especially when it's really big things that are taking place. And it's well documented that I said things were going to be taking place. So, selective memory. We hear what we want, we see what we want, and we also get rid of what we don't want in our lives. Makes things rather difficult on ourselves at times. Okay, Woo Writers. Are you still got your question, or are you still typing? Do, 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 do. Bum, bum. Anyway, wait just a little bit longer. So, what else? Oh, the other thing I got told today is I don't need to tell all of it. And I'm like, yeah, actually, there's a number of things. Ah, excellent question, Woo Writers and Miss Desiree. Wants to know, what is the easiest way to find out if you're related to a certain species of ET? Whoa. That's a hell of a question, my dear. What's the easiest way? Ask your guides. It may take you, excuse me, I need to restate this. It may take them a while to get you the message, or you may have the message right away, but you don't recognize it. And I don't know if I have stated publicly who I know in past lifetimes, some of the ETs I've been, ET races I've been, but I think this lifetime, yeah, so ask your spirit guides. Ask your spirit guides that one, but watch, you have to want to pay attention. This is the key when it comes to spirit guides. You have to be paying attention, okay? Even when you get tired, even when it could come about your spirit guides, could try to put information in your path in a wide variety of ways. That's the other thing that you need to be aware of. And a lot of times, most people, it goes right over their heads because they aren't paying attention. Or they miss it because of whatever is happening in their life. Well, what I would personally recommend doing is on a Post-it note, write down your question and put it. I would make a number of these Post-it notes. Write down your question, post it in your bedroom, post one in your bathroom, post one in your kitchen. Leave it out of your living room if you want, but have it posted around. Make it a priority in your life to find out what that question is. You may have a lot of other questions, but it's one surefire way to make sure that they know you're serious about this. This is really what I want. You might also want to not just say it in your head, but also speak it verbally. And I would make this a priority in such a way to where I'd be saying it a couple of times a week, if not more. Read it out loud. One way or another, your spirit guides will get that information to you. So go about it that way. There's a lot of other ways, but that's, I think, in my opinion, likely the best way. I didn't know Greys could have sections in humans. What the hell? I just got shown a Grey merging into an ET form. So that's why I just made the statement that I made. Well, that's interesting. Literally an image of a Grey. This is my left side. Image of a Grey, image of a human, and literally visually shown melting right into the human, and the human becomes one. That's interesting. Not sure what to think about that. There's so many people that have so many different viewpoints on, the Greys are humans from an advanced timeline and all this stuff, and I've never commented on any of that. And I'm not gonna start now, but that's literally what I was just shown. Well, that'll make for some interesting dialogue for somebody. And my future granddaughter. Oh God, cat lady's back. Cat litter lady. I start sneezing. And I smell cat litter, so if it's not her, it's somebody new. No, energy feels female. That's interesting. Anyway, so there's your answer to that one. Put it on a Post-it. Tape it around. Doesn't have to. Yeah, sorry. That means I need to eat. It doesn't have to be a Post-it. The only reason why I say put it on a Post-it is because Post-its come in multiple colors, and it becomes more predominant in your home. It won't become a subject of a source subject, but it will become. It's like a red flag. It's like you'll see it. The reason why these are orange is because I wanted to see them. The yellow ones don't mean a hell of beans to me, but if you use a different color other than the yellow ones, it'll register for me. So find a color that registers for you that you will actually pay attention to. Red ones, orange ones, green ones, whatever. I don't remember ever seeing blue. Seen the little tiny ones that are blue, but not the ones of this size. So find a Post-it that looks. Oh, cool! Sounds good. Find a colored Post-it that works for you, and ask the questions that you want to have asked to your spirit guides, and post them around your home, because it literally shows them that you are making this a priority. You want to know. And I'm preaching to the choir right now, because there's a couple of certain things that I don't understand and need answers to, and I need to do that too, and I haven't done it. And it's like, oh, for God's sake. And now I could just ask them, and with the psychic medium, there are times I'm lazy about stuff like that sometimes. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. So there's that. Was that it? Yeah, I've got a piece of chicken I need to eat tonight too. Woo Rider says, we are having chicken leg quarters for Din Din. That sounds good, dear. Anyway, hour and 50, I'm going to go now if there are no more questions. I keep being shown grays. Like 6 foot tall grays. I keep getting shown grays. I don't know if that's an answer to your question. I don't know. Because I never thought of grays. I think that's probably why I'm getting a little confused on it. Yeah, you're welcome, Woo Riders. Says, thank you for this stream, Nikki. God bless to all. Laters, says Lil Cam. Yeah. I've never thought of grays being... I've never thought of the grays as being part of, like I have with the Lyrans and I have with the Arcturians and sometimes the Tall Whites and that kind of thing. But I've never thought about the Greys that way. Never thought about them that way. Fascinating. Well, I'll have some questions. It's very possible. There are so many different viewpoints. And there's also so much inaccurate information out in ufology or newbies. Like, oh yeah, I can't. Damn, I was just about to say something I can't say. But there's inaccurate information out there being brought about by new people and even folks who've been in ufology for 30 years. There are some who've been corrupted. You got to really watch out in who you follow. Seriously, watch out who you follow because it can be a real detriment. So if you're new to this subject and field, be very, very careful with the big names. Be very careful. There's only 4 or 5 that I would actually even remotely trust. 3 I would for sure. 4. I can never remember her name though. One I would trust would be Misha Johnston. Another one is Melinda Leslie, Lorian Fenton, and the other female. I can never remember her name. Anyway, all 4 of them are very good friends and have been for years and years and years. And these are women that I would trust implicitly in this field. They don't pussyfoot around. They know their stuff. They're experiencers, abductees. There's a lot of information that they have and that they know. And they're good quality people. Then you add a couple more to that, which would include Geraldine Orozco, Samantha Mowat, Cheryl Costa. There's a few guys in there, of course, but I can't think of their names at this second. But those first 4 that I named, those are the key women I would definitely trust in this industry. They know their shit. They are not corrupted individuals. They fight for what's right. And they do what they can in the ufology industry because it has become an industry. And those are folks that I would listen to. So those are Nikki's recommendations. And I say it that way because there really is a lot of bullshit bunk, garbage out there, and you've got to be very, very careful. The things that I've come across, especially that's being put out recently, I don't want to get on the government bashing, but there are issues within the government where they're trying to sequester and shut down a lot of people who are experiencers, because more people are coming out and listening. More of the public is coming out. We're essentially making logical sense, and that's not wanted or liked. Because this was all woo-woo before, and now it's becoming more and more predominant, and people are taking notice. And that's what has been needed in this ufology field for many, many years, is a lot of abductees, a lot of experiencers have needed to come out and start talking about their experiences, no matter what the fear is or the targeting, because yeah, that can be very wicked and very nasty. But we all need to start speaking up. All of us who are experiencers, there's not just a couple hundred or a few thousand. There are many of us who honestly believe there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of abductees over many, many years. So, hey Pooja. Hey hun. It's good to see you in here. Welcome to my chat. We're talking about ufology and experiences within ufology. So, if that's a subject, please come on in and say hi. And if it's a subject you enjoy and like, please hit the like and subscribe button or the share button if you're willing. Helps the algorithms, and I appreciate it. Anyhow, Samantha, let's see, Woo Rider says, Samantha Mowat kind of scared me a little. Something just seemed different. You mean recently? You got to remember too, Woo Riders, that a lot of times, a lot of us that come on and do the talking about all of these things, a lot of us get very tired. We want to be talking, we want to give information, but sometimes it gets a little hard. And so well intentions and things like that. Good intentions, well-meaning. Sometimes things can seem a little off or a little different sometimes. And that's natural and normal, because that's all part of our own individual things that we go through in life, and we want to oh sweetheart, I'm not doing readings tonight. Look closely at the eyes. Okay. Hi. No, I'm not doing readings tonight. But if you hit me up on Facebook, I had to think about that. Hit me up on Facebook Messenger, Pooja, and I hope I'm saying your name right. I will. Nah, I get it. I get it, Rue Riders. I will. If it's agreeable with somebody else, I will. Sorry, because I know somebody that is. He's nicknamed the Human MRI, and then you take that information to your own medical team and start deeply looking into the things that this person talks about, because it's your medical team that's going to be doing that kind of stuff. You don't take it on just somebody's say so. You got to do the research too yourself. So yeah, just hit me up privately on Facebook Messenger, on so it's Nikki, and I kki.jacobs, Jacobs, .376. That's where you can find me on Facebook. Or you can even email me at restorebelief2022@gmail.com. I email I will check twice a week. Usually the last 3 weeks have been really difficult because of my friend dying. But I am starting to check it more again. And anyway, so those are some of the options. I do have a, not LinkedIn, what the hell is it called? Rumble, I think it's Rumble. I do have a Rumble account. I think that's posted on my page, on my Restore Belief with Nikki page. YouTube page, sorry. Yeah, I do need to eat, which means I'm gonna need to go. And I will get you information to this gentleman who is an energy worker, can give you an idea of what to look into if he sees something, and you can have a conversation with him if he's willing. And that's, we don't charge. There's a lot of us that don't charge for the work that we do. So anyway, oh, and it looks like I'm going to be on a show. Let's see, can I even talk about that yet? It'll be next year. It'll be, from the sounds of it, it sounds like it'll be their 2026 season. So I just got asked this morning about that, and I said yes, and I'm not going to say the name of the show until we get everything scheduled and all of that. So anyway, so that'll be coming up in January or February of 2026. So and she's got a big show. It's a big show. So that's kind of cool and exciting. That's something to look forward to. Anyway, on that note, the Woo Riders I'll take a look later. Yeah, speaking of which, but anyway, yeah, those are folks you can look into. Let's see. I don't remember what state Lorian is in the United States, but Misha Johnston, she's in Nevada, and Melinda Leslie, she's in Sedona, Arizona, and those two ladies also do sky watches. I can't think of what they're more than just sky watches. You actually call in UFOs, and certain races of ET will actually, the more positive race of ET will actually do that. So I highly recommend those ladies. I've never experienced one of theirs for myself, but I know a lot of people who have. There's also a couple of locations, other locations across the world that does those kind of things. So I'd look into that and do your research. There's no reason to be paying $2,500 for doing that kind of thing. You can actually go out your door in the night and look up and start talking and saying, hey, but you might want to look into how you go about doing that. So to draw in UFOs. So you might want to be a little careful with it, though. So you want the positive ones. Anyway, oh shoot. No, not really. Okay. Anyway, so on that note, that's it. I've babbled. You got some good info at the beginning and towards the middle. So anyhow, on that note, I fully expect to be back later tonight after all the bigger shows are done and over with, and we might, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Woo Riders. I would not be using a dog whistle. That is not how you call a man, dude. Oh, he says just be cautious using the dog whistle approach. It can hurt dogs in the neighborhood. Yes, it can. And you don't ever use a dog whistle to call in UFOs. So you actually you want to meditate first and put out good positive energy in your body, in your mind, in your heart, and go out and do that. And it's, in my opinion, preferred in a forest, but it doesn't have to be. It can be in a desert or it can be wherever. So I've known people to do it in the city and have pretty interesting results. So take a gander at that gander. Take a look into that and check it out. Trying to think of anything else before I go. I think that's truly it. Anyway, take very good care, my friends. If you aren't able to come back tonight or you don't see me tonight, whatever, I wish you a very good weekend. I fully do expect and anticipate to be on later tonight. I thank you all for sticking around, paying attention, and listening in. If you have any questions, feel free, give me a holler. Ask, and if I can answer it, I'll answer it. If not, I will refer you out to somebody that I know can answer it. Anyway, on that note, take very good care. Much love to everybody. Be safe out there. Okay? Bye, guys.